Oh.
Now they can hear us.
I
Also,
want them to know about my siblings.
we're going to deactivate the preview for the character sheets. Let's go!
Hey, the title's right.
Yeah!
Nailed it.
First time! It's not like I've gone over this. Let's see. We're like 120 episodes into the other campaign and 25 into this one.
Don't worry about it.
You're doing great.
You definitely haven't been doing this for like 4 years.
Yes. Yeah. Totally not. Anyway.
All right. Let's get started. With summary. That's my job. Last week, we started another morning. The morning after you guys almost got assassinated, or quote unquote almost. You guys killed them pretty easily, or knocked them unconscious, or one of them got away. But it was the next morning. Eli and Gira very early go into the city. Eli going back to the artificer's house, and Gira going shopping, and then going around and donating to various places in the outer city, like soup kitchens and the orphanages, or whatever, with the rest of the money that you stole from Lord Staunton. Z goes back to the sea tower to speak with the guards about the assassination attempt and ask if there was anyone on the case. They explained that there wasn't much they could do at the moment, but they did put more guards in that area for the next however long. And then he goes to see Bori Brightwood, telling Bori about the assassins. Bori offers for you to stay at his house, and it seems very thankful that you told him that you almost got assassinated, for you left to go back to the Rose, where Alba was helping fix up the hallway that got scorched by Eli the night before. And Haskell has a day in the river and finds 2 trinkets at the bottom. Later that day, you guys head back to the Staunton Manor to confront Lord Staunton after setting up what you assume to be a meeting that night. But you learn that instead it seems to be a dead drop location. And you all spook him thoroughly before leaving. You see him talking to the 2 guards that are normally out front of his house. And you steal his wedding ring out of the garden. And then go meet back up and decide to just drop this for now. Not in your hands. It doesn't seem to be related to the cult. It's just not something you wanted to deal with. And so you guys had 5, 6-ish. I'm not actually counting. More days in Baldur's Gate after that we just sort of skipped over. Some of you sold some things at that time, and I'm sure there was other activities that went on that aren't too important. Eli, after going back to the High House of Wonders a few times, gets part of his flight modules restored and basically gets kind of some turbo boosters for combat. And it's the first of the next month of Flame Rule. It's the next month when later that day, Akin Celebon has a small boy deliver a message to you guys, ending up having to deliver it to Haskell. He seems unenthusiastic about it, but does. And in the letter it says he has some information to tell you. You go to his shop, and he further explains everything he saw when the people who you can only assume is Redsmere and a friend stopped by and advised you all to go the next day to try and get hired on for the next caravan that left a little after noon the next day. So you all make plans and get fully packed up. And we ended as you all went back to the Rose and spent a night in the Rose, your last night in the Rose, assumedly. and we will be starting as you all wake up. Probably relatively early that morning, and get ready to leave. If there's any last things you want to do this morning, interrupt me. But you all pack up and get ready to go and head out of the Rose.
I
Go
think
ahead.
because Eli wakes up before everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
he'll probably go to the High House of Wonders and just, to say, okay, thanks for the maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bye. And then, just when he shows up to open, he'll be like, thanks, friend. I appreciate that. Peace.
Yeah, you say goodbye to Professor Black one last time, who also expresses that he's a little sad to see you go, but wishes you good luck. And then you head back to the Rose to meet up with the rest of your companions, and head out to the most northern point of Baldur's Gate. And I can bring you back to this map one last time. Or maybe one last time. Maybe you'll come back. The northernmost point of Baldur's Gate, where Akin pointed you to, which is like up here. Whereas you walk into this area, there's a chance some of you had been here already before, either in this week or Gira, maybe when you grew up here. But this part of Baldur's Gate is very much a lot of like open tents, and you can see wagons parked, and there's quite a few people milling about, and you head to like the furthest spot in this area where you can see is probably the people planning to leave today. Everyone give me perception checks as you kind of head into this area, and you see about probably like 25-30 people here.
Damn.
Alba's sleepy.
Perception.
Alba didn't sleep well last night.
I have advantage on perception.
Okay. You have advantage, Tucker?
Yes.
Okay. Then yeah, Gira, Eli, and Haskell. The three of you, or the five of you, all kind of head out into this area. You see people look like they're starting to get ready to leave later in the day. And you don't really recognize anyone. But you all will remember. Last night, Akin Celebon kind of tried to tell you some information about some people who might be with the cult and who might be heading out tomorrow, including a elven man. If I'm remembering correctly, let me double check and look at it.
Black hair, black long straight hair, I believe.
Yeah,
That's the
long
elven.
black hair, a pale elf. And as you enter this area, you do see a pale high elf, with long black hair. And he's sitting with a few other people. You see around him is a human man, and a small halfling man. And Gira specifically, as you look around, you also recognize one other person who doesn't see you, but you would recognize this person as someone you met back at the Raiders camp in Greenest. If you remember her name is Zafira. She was one of the Red Dragon cultists who you spoke to when you were at the camp.
Oh, shit.
I can put their tokens on here just so you can see them.
I would immediately fade into the shadows of Eli and Haskell.
Oops, that's the wrong layer. Go on to this layer.
Two tallest and broadest boys.
Yeah.
Oh
This
my
would
god,
be
if
the
Haskell
high
grows
elf
up
you're
his
seeing.
grill, he can become an umbrella.
Yes, literally.
Wait,
Oh my God.
hold up. Can you
Oh
Z,
my
keep
God.
keep it in your pants, all right?
can you zoom it in on the I'm like 90. So
Hobby.
out of character, I'm 99.9% sure I used this guy once as Candace's picture. It's like, wait, what?
These two people happen to have the most evil looking tokens, for the record. And
Oh my
this is
god.
Zafira.
Holy
Yep.
shit.
You don't need a paladin to detect those two as being evil, let me tell you.
What are you talking about? They just look like normal people.
Yeah. They have that
Normal,
that
evil people.
yeah, they have that murderer stare where you can see the white of their eyes above their irises.
Yeah, the wide.
Where you can see the
intense eyes.
souls of the people they've murdered.
Screaming inside of their eyes. Oh, we're
Wow,
outside.
they're fucking huge. Oh shit.
This is where I'll put all the tokens of the people in the caravan with you, because there's too many to put on the front page.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than them, you see around this area is another like I said, 25 to 30 people. I can also show you the tokens of the people sitting around these two. But you're standing here. You can only assume not everyone here are cultists. And you do looking to either get hired on or tag along with some of these people. I'm not exactly sure how any of you want to go about it, but there's people here, and
Yeah.
you sure some of them at least need guards.
Is it somewhat easy to identify the people who are like worker hands for the caravan, like people who are tending to the horses or preparing like the essentials for the travel itself?
Like who are hirons and who are like the overseer of it.
Yeah,
kind
that
of
sort
thing.
of thing.
Yes, it seems in most cases, like as you look around, you see, let me double check.
It would be easy to like, I imagine like there's a lot of people like packing things onto the caravan who are not part of the worker hands, because like people are packing in, getting ready to depart. But people who would be tending to the horses are most likely gonna be like hired hand sort of thing.
Yeah. You could probably pretty easily, at least in most cases, as you look around, establish between like the merchants or the nobles who are hiring people, and those who have been already hired. Like you see a like pick randomly a like a man standing next to a wagon talking with someone, and like standing and like starting to load stuff into this cart are a few other people. So it's probably pretty easy to pick out those who aren't merchants and those who are. There's a chance that some of these people are merchants and just haven't hired anyone on to help them yet or don't plan on it.
Well, the way that I'm gonna approach this is I'm gonna actually go for one of the worker hired hand and like just approach them and like, hey, can I take like 2 minutes of your time? I'm looking to head travel north. Do you know who's handling the caravan?
Yeah, we'll start with Z. Z, roll me 1d20 as you approach someone random.
Sure. I mean, as I mentioned, I'm trying to like approach one of the people who
Yes.
I rolled for the GM only. Habits of being usually being the GM. I'll just use that one. It's on stream as well.
What'd you roll?
5.
A 5. Yeah. Yeah, you approach someone who appears to be a hired hand. You approach a dwarven woman, who is already armored, and she seems to be like hooking up some horses to a cart. She's number what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can share her token with you. Yeah, you see this dwarven woman, and you approach her and say, "Hey, I'm looking to get hired on. Who's in charge?" Is that what you say?
Yeah, no, I specifically didn't mention that I'm looking to get hired. I said I'm looking to travel north. Do you know who's handling the caravan?
Yeah, she looks at you, and she says, for sure. I mean, I can point you in the direction of the person who owns this one. You can also look in other places. Does that work for you,
I'm a little bit
Mr.
Z, Azamet. Z, my friends call me Z. I'm a little bit of a press for time. That's why I'm just, first caravan that's leaving. That would be my best option.
Yeah, sure. I mean, everyone here should be leaving around the same time. And she like turns around. Looks like she's looking for someone. And she eventually seems to spot who she's looking for, and points you in that direction. And of a man who seems to be maybe from Kalmstrand, like an eastern part of the world. And she says, that's who's got me running. His name's Nairhite. I'm sure you can probably tag along with us if you need to.
Hi, thank you. Didn't catch your name.
Eldkin. It's nice to meet you, T.
Thank you. Likewise. I'll go talk to the boss, man, I suppose, and see if we can tag along. Thank you. I'll head over to. I'll bow before I head over to the person they indicated. So can you type the boss man's name and her name into chat?
Yes.
Because weird fantasy names are very hard to understand how they're supposed to be written.
There you go.
Okay.
And then
Perfect.
I don't know if I said his full name, but I'll give you his full name.
I mean, she mentioned her their one.
Oh well, you get his full name.
Yeah, Nairhide.
Nairhide.
Nairhide. Okay.
And I can switch back and forth between GM and token layer.
Perfect. Yeah. I'll go over to Billy Nye. I'll approach Nairhide and go. Excuse me, Mr. Nairhide. I trouble you for a moment.
He looks at you. And he kind of like raises an eyebrow. And says, yes. What can I do for you?
Well, my companions and I are looking to travel north. We were hoping that perhaps we could catch a ride with you. We can make ourselves useful as guards, or we can also pay for the travel, at least.
He looks at you, and he says, I can only fit maybe 1 or 2 more people in my wagons. But if you're willing to pay, you're more than welcome to join me.
Right. How much coin are we talking about here? Just so that I can convince my companions, perhaps.
Well, it depends. Do you plan to stick along all the way to Waterdeep?
Hopefully. That's our intended destination.
Then probably 60-day journey. Probably like 20 to 30 gold pieces for the whole way.
Right. And out of character. My guess is that normally caravan travel you pay half up front, half upon arriving.
Probably.
Uh,
That would make sense.
yeah. Yeah.
Also, I think that's a price where you're not offering any service and you're basically just being hauled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as I mentioned, my companions and I are quite capable. If you need to protect yourself against any kind of dangers out there, we can also provide that kind of service. Negotiate price. Otherwise, well, I'll have some other caravan owners to talk to.
He looks at you and he says, one could always use more guards on the road, especially heading through the troll claws, but you can't just trust anyone.
Certainly, I can agree with that.
If we could hire you on, perhaps if you somehow go to show yourself as someone who could actually assist me and not someone who just says they can, then sure. Otherwise, you can pay half now. Go ahead.
How secluded are we? Like, as we're talking, like a little bit, just like next to the cart, maybe blocking some of the sight from the other caravans, or are we just like out in the open?
You're probably standing under one of these tent things. You're not super secluded. There's other people around in this area. If you wanted to, you could probably step behind his cart that is pretty nearby. The dwarven lady who pointed you in his direction might also see you. But
yeah, I'll. In that case, I'll sort of hold a hand so that it's not terribly visible what I'm about to do from the rest of the caravans. And I'll sort of show Nirehide as I spark a flame on my hand, sort of like showing that I have arcane capabilities. I can assure you that I'm the least talented amongst my companions, and I can handle myself in a good fight. As I extinguish the flame again.
Give me a cursory persuasion check.
Sure. Huzzah! Not great.
Huzzah.
A 5 and a 9. Great.
And he watches as you do this, and his eyes widen a little. Not quite expecting maybe a spellcaster. But he nods. And he says, well, if you insist that your companions are as it seems to be, you can handle yourself. Like I said, I can only fit 1 or 2 more people in my quarters, but we could maybe switch it around if you are willing to do guard work. I'll pay you the same amount, 5 gold pieces for 10 day. That's 60-day journey. But that doesn't mean you can just tag along like you would have if you paid me.
Well, that seems more than fair enough. I'll see which of our companions can join you. Certainly, there's 5 of us, so we will have to split ourselves between 2 caravans. I'll make sure that you get the most talented of us regarding the
He smiles, like, pleased, and nods, and says, well, I'll be leaving today with the rest of these people, so as long as you and your companion are here by then consider it a deal.
Right, and I'll sort of stretch out a hand to sort of shake on it.
Yeah, he'll shake your hand.
I'll head back to the group and sort of catch them up. Like, all right, guys, we got 2 spots on 1 caravan. We're still missing 3. Anyone want to try their luck?
Actually, as a question out of curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
since we kind of know the cultists are mixed in here,
Mm-hmm.
does there seem like an unordinary amount of lizard folk or anything around here?
You see no lizard folk, except for you.
Interesting.
Also, Z, you would probably think for a second after returning to everybody that Eli could literally be stowed as cargo.
Oh my god.
So
Technically
you could
2 more
literally
spots,
do
yes.
that. Yes.
Ollie, is there anyone that looks like they're having trouble with their like cart, or like things they've got something that's broken or in need of repair?
Uh-huh.
Are you telling me to break one of their carts? Because I can do that.
I mean, if you want it done subtly, I can break one of their cards.
Oh my god. You see one person. I just scroll through to make sure I was right. Not scroll. I'm reading out of a book. You see one person. He is like a large burly ginger man. Who's standing next to a very tall man, and they're kind of like standing next to a cart, and they seem to be arguing as one of them is kind of like gesturing at the wheels of the cart. It's hard to make out what they're saying to each other from your position with the chatter and the bustle of everyone else around you, but it seems like they might be your best bet as they're kind of like
All right.
going back and forth and kind of gesturing at the cart.
Okay. Yeah, Alba will walk over to the two arguing men. Say,
Mhm.
excuse me, sirs. You look like you're having some trouble.
The ginger, the ginger one, turns to look at you, and he kind of like looks a little embarrassed that you seem to have caught on to their talking back and forth. But oh my god, the other man says to you instead, well, Sammerdag here is trying to transport porcelain all the way to Waterdeep. And he's like, and the other guy is like, oh, it's good markets in Waterdeep. I'm sure it'll be fine. They almost look like they're gonna go back to arguing about it. And he's like, you're traveling in a wooden cart. Just like gesturing at the wheels. I can...
And thus, Alba invents suspension.
Well,
hydraulic suspension.
Oh.
Is it just like an extremely basic wooden car with like 2 wheels on a stick?
Yes.
Oh god. Well, your friend here does have a point. Perhaps there could be something done to make this a bit more safe for your cargo?
The the man who is referred as Samadag looks at you. He says, and what are you offering your help?
Yeah, I could certainly take a look at it. I am an artificer, and she'll like pull the holy symbol of Gond out of her armor and say, we are usually good at fixing things.
They like glance at each other, and he says, are you from that artificer's house in the city?
Not originally. I'm actually from Lantan, which is similar. The home of artificers, honestly. But yes, I am associated with the High House.
He nods, and the other guy is like looking at you, and he looks thoughtful. But the the guy who seems to be the owner of this wagon nods, and he says, "Do you think you could? You're tagging along for the ride, and you think you could help keep this safe? It is all very precious cargo."
Yeah, I should think so. Like I said, you might need to do something with this cart. It's not ideal, but these things can be fixed. Plus, I have some repair magic should the worst happen. Yeah, mind if I take a look at this thing?
Of course. The other guy kind of just shakes his head and goes to start walking away. He doesn't seem to be a guard for this guy's cargo, and just seem to be arguing with him about it.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Look, bro, this is stupid. Why are you doing this? Hey, fuck you, man. Hey, I'm just trying to help you here, eh? No, fuck.
But yeah, this guy nods and like gestures for you to like allowing you to do whatever you want. And you two could work out an agreement. I don't want to say persuasion. No. You two could also work out an agreement since he's hiring you on to basically take care of his stuff.
To guard the merchandise.
To guard the merchandise. I'd say for probably the same rates that Seed's going at.
That's fair.
Probably more if something breaks. Like without like, yeah, if something breaks and you can find a way to fix it, then like I'll give you a tip.
Right. I mean, as long as it's not destroyed, I'm pretty sure mending will fix it.
Yeah. You get the sense as you're talking to him, this guy's either super optimistic or not very bright. So.
I mean, it's basically the same thing, isn't it? This is good. Gives me an opportunity to experiment and get paid for it.
Yeah.
So yeah. I guess I'll figure something out. Try to decide if I can try and rope someone else in to come along with me on this. Is there much room on this cart with this guy?
He has a cart with like crates of, as you probably like maybe like open one up to look in, just like it's exactly as the other guy said, just fragile porcelain all crated together in this cart.
Okay.
Is there like or anything for any kind of cushioning?
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
like this is a 2-month journey.
Yeah, it's a 2-month journey and on a cart with no suspension.
Yeah, out of character though, I'm pretty sure things inside of a bag of holding don't shake if the bag of holding is being stirred. So technically, you could bring Eli.
That's a good idea.
Use him as an extra dimensional chest for the porcelain.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably fit one more person here if you tried, or Eli if he stood outside.
Well, he would if you brought Eli as an extra dimensional chest, you could take out all of the china, the porcelain, put it inside of Eli, and then occupy the space that the porcelain would have taken with Eli.
Honestly, I feel like they should just spend a couple hundred gold on a bag of holding, and they'd be fine.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. Well, for now, I'll try and sell him on the suspension idea because I want to play. Because Albert would want to do that,
Yep.
and failing that, she
Mhm.
has her own bag of holding, and she can rope Eli in to help.
Uh-huh.
You can also advertise Eli as a health dispenser, and he will just passively create potions of healing over the 2 months journey. So if anything does happen, you have insurance.
Like horse gets injured or anything like
Yeah.
that, and you could just feed them a healing potion. They're good to go again.
Yeah, you can mend the cargo, and he can mend the passengers.
Yep.
Yep. And, also be an extra dimensional chest, but yeah.
But yeah, at least Alba has secured a spot with someone. And Ziggy secured 2, whether or not one of them's for him. I couldn't tell what you were implying.
Well, I left that possibility open because we didn't know yet.
Well, technically, you didn't because you said
My companions
I'm the
Yeah.
least capable,
Of my
and then
companion,
you
yes.
said I'll give you the 2 most capable.
Yep.
Which honestly, I feel like I guess in normal combat would probably be Haskell and Gira.
Well, it depends,
Yeah, it depends.
and it depends how many resources we want to spend in that combat. Because if we're just blowing through everything, Z and Eli are the highest
Yeah.
DPS.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
She's like fucking twinned empowered chaos bolts.
Bakaretsu, la la la.
Pretty much. But nothing will ever require a twin empowered chaos bolt while fetching surge. It's like taking out a rocket launcher. A machine gun rocket launcher, to be precise.
So there are no lizard folk around.
Mm-mm.
You're probably
Which is
sending them
interesting.
through the Marshall for that sort of thing.
Where's Haskell's shield?
Where's his shield on him?
Yeah, that is Cyan's Wrath face. Just to remind everybody.
Before we got there, we would have convinced Haskell to cover it.
Fine. Haskell would have a cover over it.
Do we know which caravan Zafira is with?
Yeah. I started marking them with little dots. But it seems like she's with those other 2 people.
All right. So they're like, I'm just gonna stay away from them as much as possible.
That might be a good idea.
Zafira is the one they are taking to meet with the prince, right? Or am I misremembering things?
No. The letter you got was about Creek's mentor going to meet with the prince.
Got it.
Yeah.
God, everyone's so much bigger than us.
The elf named Alara won't tell us where she's from. We will have to send her in the first cart out with me and Asbara.
Got it.
Perhaps she will be useful in turning the king's son.
Eli sort of just looks at what everybody's doing, sees what everybody's going about their business, and just sort of thinks to himself briefly, scratching his chin. And he sort of like steps up, not near anybody specifically, but trying to be within line of sight of everybody. And he sort of just like stands on the side of the road pops open his chest, reorganizes the insides a little bit, and like shifts the part of his body that creates healing elixirs to the front of the bag of holding so it's visible. And he just sort of stands there and he's like, selling healing potions, 25 gold each. Selling healing potions, half off.
Never mind, they expire in 24 hours.
Discount healing potion.
Expiry date coming up soon.
Reduced for clearance.
Reduce
All of them must go.
Yeah, you stand there with your chest plate open, and at some point, Alba, as you're kind of maybe like I imagine like on your back, like underneath the wagon, trying to point out something to this man. As Eli starts broadcasting this, Samradag would look over, and then like look over at you and maybe sort of interrupting what you're saying. Being like, is that one of yours?
Define one of mine.
Well, you artificers over at that church I feel like I've seen those sort of things.
It's similar. It's not specifically associated with us, but we have been working with it recently. I don't know quite what it's doing right now.
I see. Go back to whatever you're doing.
It's quite useful if you need a guard.
A guard? Is it not just selling things?
Well, it has many uses. It has healing capabilities, combat capabilities. Claims it can fly, but we haven't seen it do that yet.
He nods like thoughtfully. You can go back to what you're doing. And Eli, as you're standing there, I was gonna have you roll just random to see who might poke around. But instead, the first person who's probably going to approach you like curiously is a very in comparison to you, a very small halfling man who like approaches you, and he seems to be, just based on, and I can flip his token, what he's wearing alone, maybe wealthy. There you go. You see this man approach you. He like looks up at you, and he probably watches you for a few seconds as you continue to broadcast this, but eventually would interrupt you and be like, excuse me, did you make those in there?
Oh, hello. Yes, they come out of my body.
Strange. Is that normal?
It happens every day, if that's what you mean. I'm regular.
He like nods and looks up at you. And it looks almost like he wants to like reach out and touch, but he like doesn't. And he says, and you're selling them for 25 gold pieces?
Yep.
It looks thoughtful. He's like, starts like muttering to himself. He's like, well, I am gonna be on the road for a long time. Who knows what will happen? And like gets lost like talking to himself for a moment. And like goes to dig into his coin purse. And he says, you know what? If you're selling them at half price, I might as well buy two. You know, I don't think I've ever seen something like you out of the inner city. like digging in his coin purse, and will eventually pull out 50 gold pieces.
Yeah, I'm not from around here. I fell from the sky. And Eli's gonna put his hand into his chest and like take out 2 of the little glass vials
Mm-hmm.
and sort of like hand them over, and then, hold out his other hand to receive the gold.
Yeah. Yeah, you say, I fell from the sky. And he looks at you, and like kind of like takes another step closer and like looks up at you. And he says, you fell from the sky?
I did.
How are you still alive? Are you alive?
That is up for debate.
Strange. Well,
Yes.
thank you, I suppose.
You're welcome.
He looks at you. He says, are you just selling from the High House? Or did they send you out here? I don't think I've ever seen. Like I said, I
Well-
don't think I've ever seen someone out here.
Well, I'm out here because I actually need to get on a caravan, so I'm hoping that I can pay for the caravan with this. And he like holds up the gold that he was just handed.
Oh. Well, like looks at you, looks at the gold that he just gave you, and then at the 2 glass vials you handed him. And he says, he like shifts back and forth and he looks thoughtful. And he says, you fell from the sky. Is that and he looks thoughtful again. And he says, you're just looking to tag along?
Well, sort of. I believe that's what you do when you join a caravan.
Well, yes. I mean, if you just wanted to pay to get on, yes. I'll admit I want to know more about this whole falling from the sky thing. So, if you're looking for somewhere to stay, I have room if you sleep. Do you
Sort of,
sleep?
but also not really, because I'm awake the whole time. And awake is based on what I have other people describe as being awake.
He nods and he says, if you give me back, like, half of that, you could come along with me and tell me more about that whole thing.
Okay. Where are you headed?
Well, everyone here is only going to one place. I'm going all the way to Waterdeep.
Okay.
Is that? Are you trying to get somewhere specific?
Waterdeep, I believe.
Oh, all right. Then yeah, we have. Yeah, if you like, uh, like 15 gold pieces right now, and you're welcome to come along.
Sure. And Eli will hand over 50 of the 50 gold pieces that he was given.
I pity the fool
Yeah,
that
you
tries
nod.
to interact with you.
He takes it back and then he like puts it in his coin purse again along with those 2 vials you just gave him.
Eli just throws the remaining 35 gold pieces into his chest, and you just hear them splatter somewhere near the bottom. As if they've fallen like 20 feet, and they're just like in a pile of gold. Like how you hear coins hit the bottom of the fucking vending machines?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But yeah, he puts it in his thing. And he says, well, it's nice to meet you, and like reaches his hand. He probably has to like extend his arm like all the way up. Because he's a short man and you're a tall robot.
Eli
Like
kneels
extends his
down.
arm up.
Eli kneels down and holds out a pinky finger, just like, "Hello, I'm Eli."
As he goes to shake your hand, but you beat him to it and like kneel down and extend your pinky. He looks intrigued, and he links pinkies with you. And he says, "I'm Blasvius. It's nice to meet you. Do you want to come here? He like gestures for you to follow him as he turns and like goes back towards a wagon. And will like introduce you to the other people who seem to be traveling with him. Who I'll also put their tokens up in a moment.
Eli takes like
But
a step and then waits, and then takes another step and then waits.
yeah. Leaving 3 of you and
Yep.
2 spots on a caravan already open.
Giro will just tell Z and Haskell to go join the one that Z had found. Giro will I'll find my own way, guys.
You sure? I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to join Haskell on the one I got us 2 spots on, I can find myself another caravan without too much trouble. I can also pay my way.
Oh, wait.
So, out of character. I know these are marked as cultist question mark, but why are they marked as cultist question mark?
Because that's the group
You
that
don't
we're all
know.
in.
Maybe they're not cultists. You don't know their names.
Well, then why is everyone marked as cultist question mark with their name?
Because some of them look evil as fuck, others don't.
These are the ones Elven cultists without a
Associating
question
with
mark.
Zafira.
And
Yeah.
you
We
know
know
this
the
guy
elven guy is a cultist. The people who are associating with either Saphira or the elven cultist are cultists?
Yes.
Question mark.
Cultist?
Suspected of associating. Known associates of a cultist.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
The blonde lady should also be marked as cultist? Question mark.
Is she not? Can you not see it?
You
Nope.
haven't made the name tag public.
Oh, who the fuck is that?
Ooh.
One of the people Eli's getting introduced to. I'll go over
Oh.
it at some point. She's green.
Nice.
You can't have my stuff.
Her and
I will BRB.
okay.
And Giro would be like, I mean, I'm a really good archer. I don't know of a single caravan that wouldn't accept a really good archer employ.
Yeah.
Also, the area that we're in, do we know like how big of an area is it?
Visualize it in my mind. And go to the map.
Are we outside the city or are we inside the city?
You're outside the city. You're at the northernmost part of the city, like out of the city.
The outskirts of the city.
Yeah, it's like the last few like tents set up as the road goes out into the wilderness again.
Gotcha. I would pull up like my cowl, like to cover the bottom half of my face, and then I would find the furthest thing away from me that I could, and just plink probably 3 or 4 arrows into the same area.
Talent
So-
show.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. You're just showing off, is what you're
Yeah.
doing.
exactly.
Okay.
Hey, Gira, you know we could just clear up more room in a caravan if we offer private holdings to clear up space, right? We'd probably fit more people if we offer that.
I feel like this is just as good as he continues to fire arrows into a tree.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, let's go would just like pipe up and be like, do you really think someone would trust strangers withholding their precious cargo?
Have to be the precious cargo. In fact, usually it's water and food that takes the most space. Especially for 2
Also-
months.
Girl will now note that Haskell is pretty intelligent.
It's 60. Take 10 people, 600. That's 1,200 pounds of food and about as much of water.
What is it? That's saying about war that's like, for every pound of food, it takes 2 to carry it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Gary would be like, I mean, I think Haskell's right. Even with that, would somebody really trust another person to carry most of the food and water?
Especially in a magic sack that we could have sconned with.
And Gary will fire a few more arrows into
Just like casually talking as he's just like pew pew pew.
For Gary, it's so easy.
Yeah. Roll me 1d20, Rob. 2.
Ooh.
No, that's just a big group.
Who approaches him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Cool.
That's-
Yeah.
Honestly, that's why I'm firing a few, multiple arrows, because I can have a bad shot, but multiple bad shots is incredibly rare.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. As you're talking with your friend, shooting into maybe like one of the like the outside facing like wooden beams that are supporting the tents, so you don't accidentally hit someone. um Someone standing nearby seems to catch attention to you, and eventually, if you're paying attention, I assume you are, you're looking
Yeah.
who is catching attention. You see the guy who caught on attention nudges the woman next to him, and she looks over towards you two. And they kind of look back and forth, and do an exchange quietly, before she approaches you. And between the two of them, it's hard to tell who's maybe in charge here. I can do
Well,
this.
that's a good point. If we have Groshaks, we don't need an extra spot.
You could just ride on Crochet.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, technically, Gary can easily keep pace with the entire caravan without any issue.
You can sleep on wagons, though, I think.
mhm.
I don't think you could sleep on a mounted creature.
Well, nobody's really going to be sleeping on the wagons, though, because the animals will need breaks at night anyways.
Yep.
Mhm.
I guess.
To be honest, pretty sure that Z can also keep up with the caravans.
Traveling at night is the worst because that is theoretically the best time for a bandit attack to happen. So if you're tented up and like staked down, it's a
You
lot
keep
easier
in full
to defend.
position.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Circled, you know.
But yeah, this woman eventually approaches you and watches you for a few more seconds before like clearing her throat and kind of extending a hand for a shake. And she says, "You're a good shot. It's nice to meet you. I'm Lita."
Nice to meet you. And I'll shake her hand. And Gira. Yeah, I've been practicing for a while.
Mm-hmm. And she nods, and she says, Yeah, I'm working as a guard for that man over there, and said he was interested in maybe hiring you on. Um, he is not very talkative himself, but he seemed just as impressed as I am.
I mean, that's honestly the reason I was showing off. So hopefully draw some attention to get hired. So I would love to join you guys.
Yeah, and she nods, and she glances back over her shoulder towards the man who she's referring to, who's kind of like just staring at you guys. And she looks at you and says, "Um, why don't we introduce you to him just to make sure?" And he's in charge of the money portion. And glances at Haskell, who's standing nearby, and kind of gives you Haskell a cursory like friendly nod, definitely a lizard folk. And then
Haskell smiles. However she takes that, that's how she takes it.
uh, yeah, she gives you a friendly nod. You bare your teeth at her,
Yeah.
and she like
It's like a dog
furrows her eyebrow.
smiling, you know? Like,
Yeah,
like you kind of know it's a smile, but it doesn't look like a smile.
yeah. And she kind of like looks a little put off, but just kind of like glances at Gira again. Turns and starts over towards this man who she's referring to. Who is kind of like leaning up against the cart. Give me an athletics check, by the way.
Fuck. Yeah, that's what I
Nice.
expected.
Don't worry about it. He was kind of like leaning up against the cart. And he, there's no lizard folk here, but he's maybe the closest thing to a lizard folk. He's wearing like a big like fur like thing over like one shoulder. Even in the hot summer heat. And as you get closer, he's a little smelly. And he looks at you. There's no lizard folk here except for the one we've already established. And looks at you. And he says, "You willing to get hired on?"
Yep.
And he nods, and he says, "I can do 6 gold pieces a 10-day."
Works for me.
He nods. Says, or he says, "I'm Acrony. It's nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you, Gira.
And he nods again. Seems to just kind of like turn his head and go back to like looking somewhere else. And the lady who, Lita, who approached you, kind of like gives you a look and like get used to it, and goes back to doing whatever she was doing. Not like an
technically
unfriendly,
what she would have
disengaging.
realized is, technically with Gira, like he would have literally been like pretty much mirroring exactly how he's sounding, because that's how he also normally sounds with strangers.
Yeah.
Short, quick answers, just try to get the conversation over as soon as possible.
And she like not in like an unfriendly, totally disengaging herself from you way. Like if you wanted to talk to her still, she seems to try and make herself open, but goes back to doing what she was doing. Before she was sent over to get you.
I would ask if there's anything that they would like me to do to help her specifically, not obviously.
She says, yeah, we have to finish getting the horses saddled up, and make sure all the cargo is loaded in. His stuff is over there. Don't worry about being careful with it. It's just a bunch of like furs and hides. The help is more than welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, I do my best to lift things if I have to lift things. I'm not great
Yeah.
at it, but
They're a little heavy.
I mean, I've got an 11 strength, but like it's not.
Yeah. You're stronger than the average person. You can do it.
Oh my god. I just realized like the cultists will just like be like, oh yeah, haha, a lizard folk is here, haha, we have those. And then like he also rides in on a stolen riding lizard.
Uh, um, but yeah, I think with that everyone's settled. See, you
Yeah.
bring Haskell back over to
Nirehite.
how do I say you pronounce it?
Nirehite.
Nirehite.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that one.
Well,
Go ahead.
I've returned. I have good and bad news. Good news is you will have a flying mage and a extremely lithe and powerful lizard folk guarding your caravan on the way. Unfortunately, it's gonna be me as the mage. Couldn't procure or seems a different caravan has got their hands on my ranger companion before I could get back. I hope that it'll still be suitable arrangement.
He chuckles a little as you're like, unfortunately, it's me. But like nods and looks at Haskell, and will offer a hand to shake Haskell.
Has this scout seen a handshake before?
You've seen
I
me.
think yes. I
You've
think he
seen
has
me shake
seen the
hands with
party
people.
shake hands.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally just saw Gira shake hands.
He will take the hand
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, he shakes your
yeah,
hand.
yeah, and probably initiate the shaking. Not exactly sure. Like basically, literally trying to copy as much of what he saw Gira do as possible.
Uh-huh. Yeah. He shakes your hand. You maybe do it like a little like aggressively. But he smiles at you nonetheless in a very like polite smile, and pulls his hand away. And
Seeing as
says,
how Haskell is likely 2 feet taller than this man.
yeah, basically. And he says, "This will do just fine, my friend Z. And your name is?"
Haskell.
He smiles and says, "Nice to meet you too, Haskell. Um, there we go. We'll be
Oh.
setting off. Go ahead."
What's this guy's cargo again?
I don't think I said it, but he is hauling. You would be able to figure this out pretty easily. A load of Kalashite silk, up to Waterdeep.
Ooh. Let's see.
Yep.
Nice. Silk trader.
Yeah, basically.
I'm certain we heard about Kalashite silk being traded out north before this. I'm trying to remember when it was mentioned.
Maybe.
Oh no, it was mentioned that this route is the one that Kalashite silk traders use.
Probably. And he kind of like debriefs with the two of you, like, we're leaving with the rest of the group, obviously. Why don't you go help the other two, as much as possible or whatever. Which you would go back to the dwarven lady, and now another woman who is working with her. The two of them would introduce themselves again to Escal and the other one first time.
I'm guessing it's more like a Elkin. This is a scale, and then Elkin introducing their companion to us, sort of thing.
Yeah. I can, just for the sake of things.
I read her name and immediately all I could think about was the Bert Kreischer, the machine, Strasvutzia, bitches.
Orvustia.
um, they introduce themselves to you. She seems a little quieter than Eldkin, but like would probably pretty quickly get sort of interested in like Haskell specifically, and like try to ask you a few questions. But probably at Haskell's like a very one-word answer, she would stop.
I mean, that was talkative for Frulam.
Yeah, I feel like that was more Frulim was talkative at you, and then
Well,
Haskell
but
went yes.
he did like give answers to
yeah.
the questions. He wasn't just like yes, no, this.
I mean, yeah, she'll ask a few questions, probably a little less invasively than Frulam did.
Mhm.
As the four of you finish packing up this cart, Eli, I think you came back. You said you were BRB. Yeah, you're back. Yeah. Losvius would lead you over to his his group of people, whose tokens I already put on the board, and I can, as I talk
Purple
about them,
ones?
just pull them up. He introduced you, to first Imza, who, despite being green, does like she does look like a human woman, but she is completely green. Her eyes, her hair, her skin, even her tongue. And also, also to this man, who, in comparison to the other two, let me make sure he's also very small. You're in a caravan with a halfling and a gnome, who is also introduced rather than introduces himself, and he seems very quiet, and kind of just gives you like a hello, and then it goes back to going and being by himself, basically. Um, oh, I don't
So
think
it's
I
those
nope.
three, and do they have
Mhm.
cargo, or what are they doing? Like, what does it look like they're doing? Like, what's their sitch?
Yeah, it seems like Losvius, he would explain he's not really a merchant. He sort of provides transport for people who are looking to go north, and could probably explain like he's not quite sure what Bradisair is doing, but he asked for transport north. He knows very well, and if you're talking about this with him, she would probably actually pipe in. Imza like needs to go to Waterdeep to remedy her condition of being green. She doesn't know why she's green. She needs
Oh.
help.
Okay then. I thought that it was like she's just green. Like that's just no. She's like okay, all right.
No.
Apparently there's a problem. Shit. Okay.
It wasn't me
All
this
right.
time, I promise.
Yeah, for real.
His wild magic's gonna go off and then she'll revert back to normal.
Oh my god. Isn't there actually a result that changes skin pigmentation?
Yes.
Oh my god.
There's also one that changes your height permanently.
Mhm.
Eli would just casually drop like, "Oh yeah, that seems like a
So
very
what
strange
I'm
arcane
hearing here,
magical effect, sort of akin to summoning a unicorn." I don't know.
Oh, I
What-
didn't bring them on.
what I'm hearing here is we have two royal blood sorcerers in the caravan.
They're commonplace.
GG.
Too
We're
bad
all
we
gonna
don't
die.
have like a cleric that has lesser restoration or something.
We have two. We're very likely traveling with 2 wild magic sorcerers, and we're carrying a Feywild, shard. Let's go. What could possibly go wrong?
And Alba, as you are working with Hammertag, later in the day, a very kindly looking woman would eventually show up and would start tending to the horses. And she also seems to be pretty quiet, but is like sort of very much sort of a motherly there you go, a motherly kind of attitude you get from her, as she would like introduce herself to you and explain she takes care of the horses and she drives the cart. It's nice to meet you. And that seems to be the only other person that he was originally traveling with, as the hours wear on closer to noon. You can?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, Al will be polite. She'll introduce herself.
Mm-hmm.
Explain
Yeah.
why she's working on that cart.
Yeah. She kind of like nods and looks like, thank God. Like, she's glad you're there. Fix this
Everyone
real quick.
else knew that this was a terrible idea, but this man refuses to accept it.
Yeah, basically. And yeah, do you all get situated with your respective wagons? And before we establish that you head off, let me bring in the tokens that will also be around as you first head out. These
Before
You mean
people
like
start
my
to drop,
special boy?
before
These
people
two.
start to drop left and right, dead.
Yeah.
After the cultists spring their trap on all of us.
Bonk. A bonk.
Look. The people associating with the cultists are just acceptable casualties.
Ollie, Rorschach needs to be twice as large.
You're
Here
not
you go.
wrong. Oh
Yes,
god.
huge.
That is accurate.
It's a fucking big boy.
Technically, there's also an ox, but
Yeah.
This is true. We all have our own pack animals. Go.
Not all of us, just the 2 of you. Yeah.
Yeah, just you two.
We have enough pack animals.
the 2 heavy boys.
Yeah.
Though deep down, Gira does regret not getting his own riding lizard. He's like, I could have just gone harder to get the one that was in the town, but I just chose to let him go.
I ran out
I
of
love the idea that
cards.
these cultists are going
That's
to
fine.
like walk past grow shacks and be like, "Is that one of us?"
Skel just whispers, "Nope." Not at all.
Heskel silent blinks at them. Groshax does the same.
Jesus.
And
So many people, holy fuck.
yes,
Yeah.
people travel in
caravan.
large groups. On
It's how
the
it be.
coast. Should
Also,
add
Safety in numbers.
Also,
That
2
is-
months of side quests, boys. Let's fucking go.
snail.
Snail.
We ran out
I
of
ran out of
colors.
colors.
We ran out of colors, so now we have snail.
Flag in the snail group.
Is that Nicolas Cage traveling in the vanner? God. Nicolas Cage lives in Corvosa, guys. Never forget.
Yep.
Never forgetty.
How could I?
Is the guy in the top right a halfling?
Right.
He looks like
Like
a
a
gnome
gnome.
because of the pointed
Let
ears.
me check.
Yeah.
Let me check. Oh, I don't have it written down here. Hold on a second. Go into my other document.
Also,
He is a
if he's
halfling.
supposed to- You guys doubted me. How dare you? And he's traveling with the other cultists, right?
Yes.
Maybe we should group up by colors.
Yeah, instead of being spread out everywhere.
Ugh, fine. 1 second.
I mean, it does kind of make sense, Ollie.
I
Put the reds with the
no.
reds, the blues with the blues, the greens with the greens, and the snails with the snails.
Yeah, get out of the way, purple. My other green man be over here.
I'll go over here.
Snails.
Why are you on top of Orvustia?
The green girl is
Because
not in
Orvustia
the
is
green
about to go to
caravan.
the left.
Yellow. Orange. Purple. Purple.
Purple.
Green.
Get out of here, yellow.
Green.
Oh.
Green. Green.
There you go.
It's a lot of green.
Hey.
There is a lot of green. They have a
Wish
lot
I
of
could
silk.
wear the green too.
Orange.
Green caravan, best caravan.
Yes, caravan.
Green caravan, biggest target caravan.
I mean, he is carrying silk. It makes sense why he wants
Yeah. Oh yeah. For
more people.
This is the most heavily guarded caravan. It's like, yes, we are carrying the most expensive goods. Also, we will murder you if you try to rob us.
I'm putting you down there.
That that man Garrett constantly goes into your guys' caravan and steal shit.
Oh my god.
I mean, I just love the idea of Gira sneaking around behind the entire caravan like a fucking creeper the entire way there.
Honestly, I thought about it.
They're all matched up. And
Like,
now
no one
all
ever
the
sees
tokens
him,
on
but
the
he's actually
DM
just
layer
like
are gonna
clinging
be
onto the bottom
mixed up.
of a wagon somewhere.
Wow.
There.
Also, I'm gonna make it a job of every time anybody in my caravan asks where I am, I'm gonna shoot an arrow at their feet if it's nighttime.
This direction, basically.
Like, hey, didn't we pay that ranger just? Oh, well, he's around.
Here, wait. I need to make this fair.
Oh my god.
Tiny.
It's a baby. It's a big boy. And free.
Hey, bear me
And
super quick.
free. Okay.
Yakety yak, don't talk back.
He don't
And free.
don't know how to talk.
Save.
Not yet. That should be your familiar.
Unfortunately, I don't think that an ox is an option.
That is so sad.
That'd be the best familiar ever.
Familiar is
The
currently
ox.
like stuck in some of my components somewhere inside of my body, and I just
Oh my
have
god, it got ground up in your gears.
It's literally like stuck inside of me, and it just hasn't fallen out yet. I just like have to use my avionic system, and it'll fall out.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, you all get acquainted with your respective caravans. Gira taking particular care to not get spotted by some of those cultists, specifically one in particular. And eventually, a few hours pass, and Sun High arrives and starts going, and oh wait, oh shit, I should have done this first. Okay, it's fine. Well, because I moved all the tokens. There's also tokens on the GM layer. So many NPCs. Oh, so many.
Listen, I'm just saying, the pseudo dragon is challenge rating 1/4, an ox is challenge rating 1/4. You do the math.
I mean, you're not wrong. They are both CR 1/4.
I mean,
Yeah.
a pseudo dragon could take an ox on.
I believe that they have poison.
They do, and it's a pretty nasty poison.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they can fly. So, I mean, yeah, probably. Can they fly? I think they can.
They can.
Yes. They also have blind sight and stuff.
Oh god.
And
There's
magic.
more people?
Yeah.
One more people.
Okay.
One more people.
One more.
Who's
and you
that
get the
fine-looking fellow?
You get the sense this man is probably kind of taking the lead. As he kind of as like it's probably like 12:30 ish when he gets like up on like a like picnic tables. He like gets up on like the seat part of a picnic table and turns to address everyone. It's like, all right, we're leaving in like 30 minutes. Be ready. And if Z wants to ask who that fine-looking fellow is, somebody would be able to give you his name.
Yeah, probably. As he's like leaning over, most likely to Eldkin or Vustio, whichever is closest.
Mhm.
Who's that fine-looking fellow? I mean, gentleman leading the caravan.
You lean over towards Eldkin, who's doing some last things with you, and she full on just like laughs, and looks at you, and she says, that's Bade. He's here to lead us down the road. It's hard to lead this many wagons without somebody in charge. He also sells beer, if you ever want to drink.
That sounds like a great combination of skills. Yeah.
Out of character, is that man a half elf?
Yes.
Oh, he do look like a snack, cause Z is right.
Yeah. Oh no! Let's go. No.
Pascal can smell it on him. Pascal's never had a drow before.
They might be poisonous.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
Just saying.
A very
First-year
real
pastry
possibility.
elf.
They are definitely venomous because they will stab you and envenom you, but they might also be poisonous. Many of them, I'm pretty sure, imbibe poisons to gain an immunity to poisons. So,
Only
Yeah.
one way for Pascal to find out.
Oh my
Yup.
god.
swap.
Like
Or
Fugu,
elderly
you just have to
people.
prepare them correctly.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's
like a
like pufferfish.
Yeah.
Drow, the puffer fish of the humanoid kingdom. Will poison you, will envenom you, and can be prepared to be tasty.
They're either a rare delicacy or extremely toxic.
I will
Drow
say,
do be toxic though. Fuck.
those two elves aren't actually drow. They are moon elves.
Oh no, that might make
Yeah.
them even.
Society elves.
I mean, I hate to be racist, but they look like drow.
Yes. This one, her at least, is probably a drow portrait. Because moon elves aren't very common.
Yeah, they are.
Right.
Drawn.
Fair enough.
Hello, yes, I am a moon elf.
But they do look pretty similar to drow. They just usually have lighter skin and darker hair.
Right.
Like the guy on the right.
To be fair,
But,
they
yeah,
do look
Evan.
exactly like moon elves from World of Warcraft. If you think
Also.
about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, let's be real. She is a delicacy, no matter how cursed she is, because that's kind of the appeal. Kel just like is slowly sizing up who he would eat if they die on the road.
There are 3 elves.
Lovely.
One of them's evil, so you know,
Win-win.
win-win. But yeah, eventually a time comes where your caravan departs out of Baldur's Gate. You have identified at least possibly 2 groups of cultists amongst you all as they head out with you. Resmir is nowhere in sight, if that wasn't clear. But
AKA
That we
all-
know of, because we know he's a spellcaster
you
and he
know
could
of.
be disguised himself, or alter stuff.
You don't know Resmir's a spellcaster. You know she's friends with a spellcaster.
Oh no, you're right. Resmir is the half dragon. I meant
Yeah.
Yep.
bald.
Esbar.
Thank you. Bald.
Yes.
Baldy.
Bald.
A Thayan wizard, yeah.
Hang on, I wanna double check. Esbar.
I actually didn't write those ones down. Feels bad.
Me they shall
Oh,
hear
right.
In my
read.
notebook.
Baldy monk mage. Alright.
But yeah, the time comes, around 1 p.m. rolls around, and you all head out, from Baldur's Gate. Oh my god, I burped like 3 times in the past 2 seconds.
First
Ugh.
fire.
I'm sorry. um, yeah, you head out from Baldur's Gate. And as you start on this journey, you have about half a day left in the first day. And I don't know if there's anything in particular anybody or anything anybody wants to do that hasn't already been established. But if there is, just say something at any point, as always.
I mean, I imagine like we're probably from time to time having little bits of chit chat with
Yeah.
the companions of the caravan.
Yes.
So during our travel, we'll be trying to make friends at the very least with people that I'm traveling with. With the hopes that if there were to be cultists, I will be able to suss them out, but also we have a long journey ahead, so I might as well keep
Yeah.
good company.
Yeah. Within this first day, at least, Z, you'd probably be able to get yourself acquainted with your very close travel companions, that being the caravan you're traveling with. And at least, Eldkin and, I can't see her name.
Robustia.
Or Rustia, who, upon speaking with them, you would be able to learn a little bit about them. Eldkin seems to be more talkative, more brash. It's very dwarven of her. And she would tell you yeah, I've made this trip several times. It's not too bad as long as you have good people here to watch your back. And the other lady would be able to tell you she grew up just outside Baldur's Gate, the outer city. And this will be her first trip more than 2 miles away from her home. But she's excited to be here. And she seems to have a spear and a bow on her back.
I mean, probably half jokingly, now that I know that this is her first travel outside of Baldur's Gate, I would ask her do you know how to use those, just in case we get into trouble. You never know.
Yeah,
the world is a rough place.
Yeah, she nods. And she says, I do. My aunt showed me how to use them. I might have been a farmhand, but she taught me how to defend myself. I'm sure I'll be fine. How bad can it get out here?
Well, it can get pretty bad. Depends on your luck. You're traveling with me, so there's a 50-50.
Yeah,
She
there
looks
is.
at you.
I'm
And
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't worry about it.
and she
Yeah, it's a much
looks
slower than that.
concerned.
Internally, the odds are much worse than that.
And she nods and she says, "Well, you seem you use magic, so I'm sure we'll be fine, and the other people here can help. I hope. Um, but, yeah."
Pascal over there, he's gonna be doing the heavy lifting for us if anything were to happen.
Pascal's token. There it is.
In fact,
Don't worry about it.
he's actually pretty good with hand-to-hand combat. So if if anything happens, stick close to them.
She nods. Uh, and looks over at Haskell. And probably goes about doing her thing.
Yeah.
As guards, you're mostly at the moment just walking beside the caravan. Mr.
Nairhite.
God, I'm so bad with pronouncing names.
Nairhite.
Yeah, I'm gonna write this down. Write this down right next to his name. Nair. Height. There we go. Now I won't forget. Yeah, Nair Height is the one steering the wagon. And you go about your day. But the first day, other than things people might want to do, is uneventful. And so are the following next 2-3 days. I gotta move you.
Eli will also make a point every day to make sure that everybody in the party has at least one healing potion on them, and then he will also give a healing potion to the people in his caravan as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of like
Yeah.
here, this is while we're traveling, you get free healthcare.
I like to think that they save everyone, and even though that it's lost the healing properties, they don't know that, and they're gonna go to drink it one time, and it's just gonna be like taste like water. Wait, what?
I'm pretty sure that it becomes obvious. Hold on.
Oh,
They're going to open it one day and it's going to have the texture of ketchup.
Vial. The elixir retains its potency, at which point the vial vanishes. So it would basically just like the liquid would just evaporate after 24 hours. Even if it's in a container, it would just disappear.
Ugh.
Also, they'd be confused, like, who keeps drinking my fucking potions?
So that's one. More.
Yeah. The people in your caravan are happy to take what you tell them are healing potions. Do you explain to them they're only good for a day? You did sell 2 for this to this man.
At this point, because I'm like on the caravan with them, I'll be like, yeah, I'll just hold on to it, and then I'll just give you a new one every day. Like just free of charge. Just like as long as I'm in the caravan, you get a free healing potion every day.
And he gets 2. Paid for them.
Kind of kicking himself, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Also, I appreciate that Gira got a premium on his wages.
Sure did.
I will also be producing other liquids as well. So he will also be producing a gallon of wine a day and 4 gallons of beer a day.
Oh my god.
In addition to honey for any sort of cooking that we may or may not want to do. And also vinegar you can cook with and mayonnaise you can cook with. So Yeah,
Actual
basically
fucking
every
vending
day.
machine.
Yeah, I pump out a gallon of wine and 4 gallons of beer as well. So basically, we're the cool kids. We're the cool caravan.
I just
We're the kids. We're the kids on the prom bus who have water bottles filled with vodka.
I just imagine like the caravans stop and the party just gathers on his cargo area, and they just like prop Eli up like a keg and start dispensing out of it.
Yeah, I'll just start selling beer and wine. Beat is selling beer. Eli doesn't know that. Eli's just gonna be like, yeah,
Yep.
I'll just sell some wine, whatever. Hold on, let's see what I can sell for.
Also, now I just have a mental image of you having a spigot where your dick's supposed to be. And
Right?
I honestly pictured something a lot worse.
Oh god.
So it's 8 SP worth of beer per day he can create, and then he can create how many pitchers are in a gallon?
Depends on the pitcher.
Depends on the
Half
pitcher.
a gallon?
Usually a pitcher is 3 pints.
Yeah, that's about right. So he
And
can
it's 4
create
pints
4
to a
SP
gallon.
worth of wine. Because just common pitcher, he just 4 SP of wine. I don't know if anybody wants to buy it, but he would really offer it at like half price.
If nobody drinks it, it's the party's drinking.
Yeah, because he can just store it indefinitely.
Yeah.
Gallon of ale, 1 SP. Gallon of 4 times gallon of.
When the party wants to open a tavern, but they also want to travel, Eli is the solution to all your problems.
The mobile tavern.
The mobile tavern.
Makes you think of
Offer available only while supplies last.
Makes you think of 7 Deadly Sins.
Yeah, yeah, for real.
Oh,
It's funny
the giant
because
pig, yeah.
the tavern looks like a hat on the giant pig, so
Yep.
Right, we need to turn Eli into a colossal plus creature, and then we can build a tavern on the rat.
I mean, yes, if you're selling this stuff at half price, you will definitely get business. Cause unfortunately, Mr. Bade Cesspool, or however it's pronounced,
Beat cesspool, yeah.
hell yeah.
has to make a profit, and he can't make it just in his chest.
I bleed
and is
alcohol.
probably a little pissed about it.
His is probably better quality. So if people were picky about it, like he probably sells like good stuff. And is it just beer that he sells, or does he sell like other stuff too? Because he could also sell liquor or like a good wine.
Or like whiskey.
That he would still be.
Yeah, he's selling ale and beer.
Okay. Well, when I run out, you know.
Yeah, they go to him.
I guess like all the guards just rush to Eli as soon as the
Eli's basically just skimming a little off the top of the profits, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you guys go about traveling for like 3 days. And see if you're trying to get to know people in the caravan, and whoever else might also be doing that. I don't know if anybody else is interested.
I'm trying to get to know people first in my caravan, but like probably we mingle with the other caravans when we stop for camping at night. I would be trying to like get a little bit of a hang of who we're traveling with, including the known and or suspected cultists. If they are sort of mingling with the rest of the people, I'll try to sort
Yeah.
of overhear some conversations, maybe not directly talk with them, just in case.
Yeah. The two groups of cultists that you've been able to identify sort of mingle with everyone else. It seems like they sort of keep to themselves, not like together keep to themselves, but in these like groups of three, they stick together for the most part, and they don't seem very conversationable to everyone else. Is there anyone in particular you're looking to get to know in this 3-day time as you like stop and camp for the night?
I can produce each liquid up to that quantity once per day.
Is that how it is? Oh, okay.
Oh,
Pretty
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
damn.
So I can create all of those once per day.
Yeah, each liquid
Up
has
to
a
2 gallons per minute. So,
Damn.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a limit for each of the liquids that he can.
Oh, it can't produce a different one or more of that one until it's reached. So yeah, it's only one per day.
Okay.
So I would probably just be doing the beer, honestly.
Just to step on that guy's toes.
Also because I can produce more of it.
Yeah.
It's like I can serve more people.
I guess during the first 3 days, I'll be mostly focusing on the caravan that I'm traveling with, and if I have some extra time, maybe during dinner and whatnot, I might want to chat with the moon elves, because I think they're probably the more rare kind of folk I haven't seen around yet.
Yeah.
I don't even know where moon elves live, like what the origin of moon elves are.
You know, that's a good question.
She says as she starts looking through her DM notes.
Just moon elves.
Okay. Yeah, you would have time at some point during a dinner to speak with these two. Who they would introduce themselves, and they seem to be siblings. Both let me make sure I have this correctly. LMN. Yes, they are siblings, and they're both merchants. And as you get to know them, they introduce themselves. The man is Nuhar, and the lady is Ed Hillary. And if you asked, they would be able to explain, which I guess makes sense for elves. They live usually like they come from just like deep within forests. They're often not found many other places. And in case you are curious, they're hauling like wooden carvings from their home like place in Cormer.
For selling or for
for selling.
Okay.
And the lady Ed Hillary is much quieter than her brother. And you see sometimes she seems to even speak to him in sign language. And he does most of the talking for her. But she is friendly, and they're both friendly. They seem to be happy to have the company.
I'm actually terribly intrigued about these wood carvings. I might end up buying one from them. Just like, you know what? To commemorate our friendship, I would love to buy one of your wooden carvings if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Newhar says, Of course, I would be happy to sell one of them to you. Um, uh, I don't know how expensive they'd be, but I can get back to you.
Yeah.
You'd probably have a wide range of different carvings to choose from, between like more like abstract ones to like ones that are very clearly like either animals or pieces of nature. But even the abstract ones seem very like nature-y.
Yeah.
That you're free to choose from. I honestly, you can tell me what Z chooses, because I don't have a list of wood carvings.
Probably some like water fish motif. If they have something like a
Yeah.
carp sort of jumping out of the river, sort of carving,
Uh-huh.
I'll probably buy that one.
Yeah, for sure. Um, they're happy to sell it to you. They're gonna sell it anyways. And you have a lovely dinner with the two siblings.
I probably ask them some like mundane questions about like their trade, sort of like, oh, did you like,
Mhm.
do you guys carve these, or is there like an expert carpenter that you guys work with, and you just do the selling sort of thing? Just like mundane talking over dinner.
Talking
Mhm.
shop.
Yeah, talking shop.
Talking shop. Yeah. Um, you have a lovely conversation. The carvings probably come from a little bit of everyone around. They plan to distribute the wealth once they get back to their hometown, which will take a while, but you know, um,
They're in no rush.
they're
Hashtag
in no
elven.
rush.
Hashtag
They
elven
are
face.
elves. Yeah. Um, but yeah, 3 days pass. And the morning of the fourth day, is when you all start passing through the fields of the dead. Which is when the wilderness gets more wild, basically. Um, it's it's at this spot that Alba, you start to understand maybe why people were concerned. Um, this part of the travel, very quickly the road starts to like twist and turn into hills, into these rocky kind of, used only by these caravans going north kind of roads. And as you're passing through, the mood of the entire caravan gets a little more tense, as it's very easy to come across danger in the fields of the dead. Um, and as you're like traveling through, you'd be able to see like um on hills nearby, you can see like ancient battlefields and stuff. Um, and at this point of the journey, anyone who knows their stuff would be able to like warn everyone else. It's a very bad idea to light a fire in the dark of night in this place. It'll attract monsters from everywhere. Um, and you get the sense that everyone at this point is sort of edgy. Um,
Just like me.
Order the wagon.
um, what? I know Bosun said he could go for 8 hours. For those of you who can't, what's the general consensus on time right now?
I could
I feel
go for like
another hour or
another
two.
2. Yeah.
Dale's probably the main person.
Probably another hour. Most.
We've been going for 2.
I
As a
could probably
point
do
of
another
reference.
hour or so.
Okay.
Hour it is.
And yeah, it's the fourth day. Or no.
Morning of the 4th day.
Yeah, it's the fourth day as you start passing through the fields of the dead. It's another 3. It's at this point. Z, you've probably talked to more people at this point. I can go over later, just like people's names and general stuff for the rest of the trip or whatever. It's about the 6th day at this point, as you're traveling through the fields, and this part of the road, the hill rises up on one side and drops down on the other. And everyone give me perception checks first and foremost.
Hey, nice. 18.
Eli and
Natural.
Haskell are just staring at each other.
8.
Nice.
Damn.
Yeah, Z and Gira. You two are traveling. You look up. Both of you also give me nature check.
Sure.
Alright.
Oof.
Uh
2 and a 7.
Yeah, you two look up, and notice, circling above you, are what seem to be eagles, which is maybe a little strange. Your best guess is maybe there's some carrion or something nearby, maybe. But other than that, it's not much to think about. And you go to continue on your way.
I would probably note it to my group that there's eagles flying overhead. I'm not sure if it's an issue, but they're around.
Yeah, when you say eagles flying overhead, do you mean like over our caravan or like in the distance overhead? Like over yonder, 2 hills over, there might be something that we can't see, sort of thing.
They're pretty nearby. They're further down the road, and they're just circling. Like,
Alright.
it's probably another like 5 minutes, and then if they don't move, or another 5-ish minutes, and if they don't move, they'll be like above you.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll let my own caravan know. Like, hey guys, I think there might be some remains of a battle ahead because it looks like there's carrion birds circling around. So I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna fly over there and check, make sure that we're not walking in what might be like feeding ground for.
It's triple teamed by a bunch of birds.
Also,
Gets
you'd,
fucking KO'd.
you'd actually see Gira fly up next to you.
How long can you fly for per day?
Like 4 hours, I think.
Oh yeah, you're more than good. Yeah. I'll in fact like as I'm starting to fly out over the caravans, I'll message the rest of the party, and I mean the cantrip message, just like, all right,
Yeah.
guys, I'm gonna go check up on some carrion birds up ahead. I'll be right back, but keep your eyes peeled. Start off flying, and I'll see Gira sort of catching up to me. It's like, oh shit.
When you say keep your eyes peeled, Eli will set up his street light. He'll just immediately start emitting 60 feet of light. Alright.
Yeah, as everyone else gets that message, if you were to look up towards the eagles, feel free to also give me nature checks.
Those are birds.
Hey.
Is when we realize those are not eagles; those are rocks.
Yeah. And they're like, wait. To be fair, that would mean they're way further in the distance.
Yeah.
Why aren't we getting any closer to them? We've been flying for 30 minutes. God damn.
Yeah. Let me double check so I'm making sure. Yeah. Eli and Elba, you two received this message maybe like one right after another. And you two look up, and you realize that is not. Those are not eagles. As Z, you like look over towards Z and Gira as they are. You guys flying up towards them or over towards where you think there might be like carrion?
Over to where to a point in which I could see carrion. I'm not like flying straight into the eagles, but high up.
Yeah.
Sort of like, sort of like half the halfway point in terms of height between ground level and the eagles, sort of thing, is my my idea.
Cool.
But otherwise, pretty much in a straight line towards.
So probably like this is the land. This is the eagles. You want to be over here so you can see
No,
down where they're looking.
no,
Yeah.
I want to be here. Oh,
I mean, yeah, but you get the point.
yeah, but yeah, the idea is like I'm neither right beneath them, but neither am I at their height level.
Um. Yeah. Um. You are flying over there. Alba and Eli, you look up as you receive this message. And maybe after like squinting your eyes a little, you realize those are definitely not eagles. Even though they're very high up, you can tell these peritons. Which, if you don't know what a periton is, they
Those
are
pretty bad.
they are half a bird of prey with the head of a stag. And they are carnivorous.
Oh,
Oh,
so yeah, Albert will reply to the message with, "Those aren't eagles. Keep your distance."
And you will also know, which you might want to relate to them, they do actually prefer humanoids, especially elves and half elves.
Okay, scrap that. She will respond with, "Those aren't eagles. Come back."
They're gonna get a whiff of Gira.
Hey, I have a question. How far
Uh-huh.
are they from us currently?
Let me double check.
They were 5 minutes travel away.
Eli turns off the
Um,
lantern because he realizes he doesn't need it now.
yeah, they're like 5 minutes travel forward, and they're probably up like 40 to 60 feet.
So they're not within 600 feet, is what you're telling me.
No, because they're about 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For this, okay.
yeah, I'll sort of call out to Gira.
Yeah,
Hey, Gira,
I'll-
they're
yeah.
telling us to turn back. They're not eagles.
Also, you'd see like Gira with his bow out and just like testing his string a bit. Like, can I make that shot? They'll be like, all right, I guess.
I think Alba knows what they are. Let's head over to their caravan
Alright.
and plan ahead.
Yeah. Once she recognizes that they're there, I suppose the caravan's moving, so she can't really get up to the front, can she? Just wait for.
Caravans
Hustled.
Yeah. You would
She'll
have
wait.
to-
She'll wait for Z to come back. He can fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will land on top of the caravan sort of thing, or fly next to it.
She. Yeah. Alba will turn to Z when he gets there and go, "Those are peritons. They're predatory, monstrous birds. They'll want to eat us. So you should probably let the guy in charge know about those."
And I'll fly to the front. I'll sort of signal to Gira to come closer so that he can hear the info as I'm flying to catch up to Bade, the Chapeau.
Mm-hmm.
And I would head up as well.
Yeah.
I'll sort of do hand gestures to the caravan leader as I'm flying next to them. Hey, love. And I'll try to sort of land on their caravan if they sort of make room for me.
Yeah, I mean, you fly up, and he looks over at you. You like gesture to like scoot. He'll like awkwardly scoot over, still like holding the reins, trying to keep them steady so the horse doesn't veer over the side of the like nearby cliff. Um, and scoots over kind of awkwardly. It's gonna be a tight fit.
Oh no, such terrible fate. So sort of land, close my wings, sort of tuck in a little bit. Hey, sorry, right, there's some birds of prey up ahead. Carnivorous, they might attack all the elven people on the group. Uh,
Guess you're speaking to a half elf.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're
He
called,
looks at you as you land. Go ahead.
Guys,
Who's the opposite?
Mr. It's on the tip of my tongue. Just like turn away from him as I'm like messaging. About what did you say they were called?
They're called peritons. They're
Peritons.
large birds that eat humanoids.
Peritons. I think it's a group of peritons. No, Vosen remembers what it's called. Z would be too nervous to remember what they're called.
That's a
Oh,
Oh,
parrot.
they
God.
look lovely.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
tiny.
Jesus.
they're actually medium, I think.
I mean, they're large for birds.
Yes.
yeah.
They're ginormous for birds, but yes.
Yeah, he looks at you as you talk, and he has his eyebrows raised as you stumble over your words, and like nods and like looks up and kind of like puts a hand out to look out towards the paradins, like over to shield his eyes from the sun.
Yeah.
Has Z tried to talk to Boyd yet?
No, this is the first time he's like
Okay.
talking to him directly.
Okay. Yeah, he puts a hand over his eyes to shield them from the sun, and he says, yeah, thanks for telling me. I don't think we've met. I'm Boyd.
Oh,
You say they eat elves?
yeah. One of my companions is a little bit more of an expert on the subject, but they prefer to eat elves and half elves, I think. Mostly humanoids, but she did mention they have a particular taste for elven people.
Also, I'd probably fly in and I would just like sit on the horses that just and just like face towards them instead of facing like towards the head of the horse.
Yeah, he watches you, Gira, and then looks back at Z, and then back over towards the paradins. He says, "Well, it's a good thing you're a friend, and you noticed. Good eye. I thought they were just like eagles or hawks or something. You didn't give me your name back."
Oh, sorry, I got a little bit distracted. Azimuth. Z. My friends call me Z.
Am I your friend?
You can call me Z.
All right. And you would be turns to look at Kira, who's sitting on his horse.
Gira.
All right. Thank you, Z and Gira. If they want to eat us, then we should probably take care of those.
I mean, keep me within like roughly 600 feet. I can start taking shots off at him.
Yeah, all right. Do you know? I'm sure there's someone else here who can use a bow. We don't want to aggravate them and then just get them over here. It turns back to you, Z. That girl in your caravan, she carries around a bow.
Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll go fetch them. If you can slow down, I'll ask the maybe we can shift the organization of the marching order. Them over here.
Maybe announce the need for more archers would probably be the best way to do this.
Yeah. Just get them up front with me. I mean, anyone who I'm sure there's some people here who can use magic. Anyone who can get them from afar. You'd rather take them out there than let them come here.
Got it. I'll go let everyone know. Awkwardly shift out of the tight fit, hop off and spread my wings as I take off.
Yeah.
I'll sort of fly over the different caravans, sort of calling out. Right, everyone. We're looking for archers and anyone who can use long range magic. We have some dangerous beasts up ahead, flying. Oh god! Now I've forgotten what they're called. Paratons. Some paratons, a flock of them. We're looking to take them down before they get on us.
Pew pew.
If you're able to help, move to the front of the caravan.
Yeah. And Boyd would slow down the rest of the wagons. As he's in front, he kind of like puts a hand out to gesture to the person behind him as he starts slowing down, so that you don't bump butts. And yeah, you gather up the handful of people who know how to use a bow, and get them up front. And I mean, I'll say without even having to, I don't think having to roll. 600 feet, they can fly, they dash, they can go 240, 360. Yeah, it'd take them more than 6 rounds. And they don't have a very high armor class. So I'll say, thanks to your guys' being able to identify them and organize, you get the archers up front, and as Boyd slows it down, you eventually get within firing range, and probably at Gira's lead, manage to take out the 3 that were going to probably attack you. And if you couldn't take them all out before they got within 600 feet, it would be pretty easy to finish them off.
Yeah. Once they hit that 120 range, then they all start dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As all the spellcasters also start shooting.
Yeah. You take them out, and you would know, and those of you who wouldn't have succeeded that nature check, Alba and Eli, you would have known this. As you probably, some of you go over to like grab the large or the medium bird bodies out of the road to make it easier for the rest of the caravans to pass through. As you pick them up, it's like midday. The shadow that they cast is humanoid, which is strange because they aren't humanoid. And you all pull them off the side of the road to get them out of the way, to clear the way.
We just murder a bunch of druids.
Maybe. They're actually really cool creatures. They have a lot of cool lore. But you drag their corpses off the road, and probably if Z and Gira, you two were helping drag the corpses off, as you like go to pass by to go back to your respective positions, Boyd would stop the two of you and you're like, hey, thank you. If you want a drink, just come ask.
Thanks. I might take you up on that offer later tonight. Am I the only one that's seeing humanoid shadows coming with the birds, though.
I didn't notice, I guess. I mean, he would look and, oh yeah, look at that.
So,
Haskell would actually try to convince Neyerhart to let him butcher the creatures on the cart.
On the
God.
cart?
I mean, yeah. How else is he gonna do it? It's gonna take a long time.
He t- as you approach him as he's sitting at the helm of the wagon, he looks at you and he says, my friend Haskell, we have very expensive silks on this cart. I'm not sure if I want blood getting on them.
He just blinks, looks over at the birds.
Why don't you go ask Krenny over there? I'm sure he might be more happy to let you do that.
Haskell will nod and ride over on Groshax.
Out of quick-
If Haskell passes me, I'd be like, why not just put it on your lizard and do it when we stop for the night?
out of character. Out of
Haskell
character.
stops.
Quick out of character question. How much would one of these weigh? Or
They're
seems to weigh,
medium.
because we are moving them
Maybe
out of the way.
they're-
Medium bird-like creatures.
Yeah, the medium
Yeah.
atrocities. How much does an eagle weigh? How much does
Giant
a
eagle weight.
giant eagle weigh?
I guess it's not terribly high weight, because they are...
11 to 20 pounds?
Oh.
Really?
Grab them,
Wait.
chuck them into my bag of holding.
Wait.
Yeah, weighing in on average from 11 to 20 pounds.
For an
Yeah.
eagle?
This eagle is large in comparison to other species,
Yeah.
apparently.
I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, they have to fly. They're
The
incredibly
large-
light.
Yeah, hollow
The
bones.
largest eagle known to have existed with an estimated weight of
Well,
15 kilograms or 33 pounds. So, at
well,
most,
eagles are
33
small
pounds.
creatures.
So take an eagle weight and then times it by
Multiply
8 twice.
8, yeah.
Or no, once, because it's medium. Yeah. So it's small to medium. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go 20.
It would be like 80.
It's like 100
80 to
pounds.
150, but still.
Pascal could take one on Groshax.
I'll take two of them and chuck them into my bag of holding.
It still needs
That's
to
all
fit
of 'em.
through the opening. I mean, I
I
guess you could stuff it in.
mean, it's still
If
a
you
bird.
fold its wings up.
Yeah, fold its wings up, just sort of tube it in. Like,
I mean, at that point,
might-
Pascal would just take all of them, yeah. If he realizes he can fit it in the mouth of his bag, he will take all
You
of
try
them.
really hard.
Birds
I mean,
much
he doesn't-
are much like cats in regards to how much they can compress their body. It's impressive.
Ollie,
Hmm
if Pascal needs to like break bones and stuff to make it fit, he will.
Yeah, you can get it. You can get it in.
He just doesn't want to ruin the hide, is all.
Uh-huh.
The insides are okay to pulverize.
You might have to... It'll be a little hard to get their antlers in there in one piece, but if you break their bones, you can get them
Just saw off the antlers and toss them in by themselves.
in. Sounds good. And yeah. The rest of your day is largely uneventful.
Can I roll an Arcana check to try and like maybe suss out what kind of bizarre magical occurrence would have a creature produce a shadow that is not that does not correlate to their
Yes.
shape? Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You now that you know these are Parentons, you dig out some knowledge that was maybe you learned like offhandedly once when you were younger, but dig it out. Peridans are really bizarre creatures. You're not sure what exactly could do this like normally, but you could remember that like I said, maybe you saw this somewhere, that sages theorized that maybe the first Peritons were humans transformed by a hideous curse or magical experiment, and then they just carried on this lineage. And that maybe that sort of like humanoid, the humans that they originated from still sticks with them, even though it's probably been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years since that happened.
All of them have humanoid. That's just like a quality of this race.
Yeah.
Sweet. And they are
And-
bizarre.
I'll also give to you because this feels like something that would probably be
Interesting to see, definitely.
interesting to see, and intertwined with this knowledge of like sages, like theorizing why they have this kind of shadow. A Peridon's reproductive cycle depends on the heart of a freshly killed humanoid. Like the the female Peridon has to eat a humanoid before she can reproduce.
It probably like triggers ovulation or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, as I'm sort of going back to my caravan and I'm watching Haskell just tear apart one of these in order to put them into the bag. I'm like, oh, now I remember why those sounded so familiar. Oh god, they're so weird.
Yep.
It's like,
Their shadow also reverts back to normal to reflect their actual form when they eat a humanoid heart.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can tell if they're fed or not by the shape of their shadow. Wonderful.
All right. So honestly, I was curious. I would have killed. I would guess, assuming they have less than 50 health, I would kill 2 of them before they got within 120 feet, and then I would just miss a shit ton of attacks.
They have 33 health.
Oh, okay.
You would have killed them.
But one would have gotten through, so I'm counting 2 kills.
Right?
But yeah. Ugh. I feel like I have to burp again. It's not happening. Yeah.
Onwards we march,
You-
I suppose?
Yeah, you go on about the rest of the day. And you go on the rest of your day. It's largely uneventful otherwise. Later that night, maybe Z, you go and get a beer from Boyd. As night falls and people set up camp. But yeah. The rest of the day is uneventful, and so are the following next few days. And I'll probably call stop soon, just because I don't want to get into this next part with about 30 minutes to go.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But it's 8th day of your journey. As you guys are traveling, it's uneventful until you I imagine, let me make sure it doesn't specify this actually. Why is it all alphabetical? Yes. As you guys go around a corner in the very rocky mountain passes of the Fields of the Dead. Boyd up front stops the caravan rather quickly. And probably the closest to Boyd is Eli's caravan. And you hear up front, Losvius is like, "Whoa!" as he has to pull on the reins really fast, and like this is a domino effect down the caravan as suddenly you all got everyone grinds to a stop as Boyd was just starting to go around a corner. And I imagine you see him like start to get off his seat in the front. And Eli, you would be able to go look first if you're interested.
Yeah, I mean, he'll peer around, take a look.
Yeah, as you see, many of the people are kind of moving to be like, what's going on? What's happening? Especially the guards like starting to head forward. Eli, you'd be able to first see this with your companions being able to catch up. You see around the bend in the road is a overturned wagon cart, and in front of the wagon cart is a dead horse, and cowering on one side of the cart is 4 people. They all kind of have their backs to the cart and they're holding weapons, and for good reason, as you're standing here and you're looking around with Boyd, who's like muttering to himself, as there is a group of hobgoblins who look like they're assailing these people. And as Boyd's horses have already like started to go around the corner, you can see him starting to go back, trying to wave the caravans to like back up a little. Everyone, give me perception checks.
Certainly.
Gira and
Oof.
Eli, and those of you who would have this information relayed to them, you can see as Boyd's like getting off the cart and trying to get people to start moving back. One of the hobgoblins, who seems to maybe be the commander or one of the commanders of this troop, turns to look towards you guys. And that's where we're gonna stop the session for tonight.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
As always, I hope you enjoyed. Give me 1 second to move you back to the splash screen. I have to change the picture. Yeah, I'll just move you first. You're still in Baldur's Gate. Congrats.
We've
Oh
gone
my
back.
God, it was all a fever dream.
It's all for you.
This one, I think. It's close enough.
Ooh, new splasher. Sweet. Alright, on that note then, I'm gonna call stream if we're done with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Alright, bye stream!
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.